Worry about you, buddy. This is where I worry about.
Uh-oh.
See, this is where your worry's making me worry, and I don't think that's good for anybody. But mostly, I'm worried about you worrying because I don't want it to take years off the back of your life.
I appreciate that.
Because I want to grow old with you.
Yeah, boy, every day. I'll tell you what, I'm not worried. I'm just, like, I feel sorry, and I don't know where to put that sorrow towards. Brock Purdy's career is not over, but I'm just saying, if I'm a Niner fan and I'm not doing the blame game, isn't this redundant? Isn't, like, what coach out there has gone through losing your quarterback time and time and time again, / running back. It's just, and I'm not blaming Kyle, but the one thing that kind of irritates me is Brock Purdy, okay, yeah, he went up against Seattle and Dallas. Pretty damn good defense with the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't make a turnover, commit an error, but didn't you want to see him on that stage? And we don't know. And now the kid's going under the knife. 6 months? But you act like it's a sprained ankle. I get it. We're different.
It's, we can be, I was just thinking about this a second ago. We can absolutely, positively pretend like we're the 49ers, like we're Lynch and Shanahan.
Right.
And to me, at this point, okay, we got this issue with Purdy. Hopefully it's this thing. He'll be back August 1st.
All right.
We got Trey Lance. Now, the only missing piece to Trey Lance is we really don't know what the organization thinks of him. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that Trey Lance, they still have hope for. Well, if that's the case, there's kind of nothing to do right now till Purdy gets out of surgery.
Okay.
And then once he gets out of surgery, or maybe before surgery, they'll say, actually, it's going to be 9 months. Okay. Well, if it's 9 months, that means he's going to miss the first 2 months of the regular season. How does that? How do you want to proceed if that's the case? What if he misses the whole year? How do you want to proceed if that's the case? But as of right now, to me, Goo, until I hear differently, he's going to be the starter week 1. That's the way I'm looking at it. And at this point, I think Trey Lance is his backup. But if Trey Lance is better than Brock Purdy or beats him out in camp, then it's Lance's job. And let's look at a third quarterback, an emergency type guy. Since our 2 quarterbacks on the roster are pretty young, maybe we get a veteran guy. That's where I'm at.
Okay, and I never steal takes, but I'll steal one from Willard in this sense. If something does jump off and Lynch and Shanahan start the courtship of a Tom Brady or another quarterback, that will give us, my friend, the answer of what they think of Trey Lance. And I'll say this, Lance make him dance. There's no way in hell you are rooting for anything like this to happen to Brock Purdy. But I got to believe you can see now when you do go back on that field, you will have at your disposal in the running back position Christian McCaffrey. And I got to believe whatever you show the world you can do as a quarterback, you will be greater than you were without having them. And now the steps that Ayuk and Kittle and Debo there, I mean, man, Steiny, he's got to make something happen, Trey Lance.
But maybe they showed themselves because it was Purdy at quarterback. Maybe they won't be the same kind of weapons without
That's fair.
Without Purdy and with Lance. 888-957-9570 is the number. It's also the Xfinity mobile text line. 1:30, Ross Tucker. We'll talk to him about the game on Sunday and the 49ers' upcoming season. But I want to ask 49er fans this. Knowing what we know right now, Purdy's going under the knife. Supposed to be back in 6 months. Trey Lance is going to be ready for OTAs. You know the names of the quarterbacks out there. I'm interested to know what 49ers fans think. Because I do think, honestly, I don't think it's the craziest notion. Now I'm going to contradict myself here. I just told you what I would do, and that is play it out and see. And by and large, I think it's going to be Purdy and Lance. But if you were another person and said, you know what, I don't believe necessarily in Brock Purdy long term. I'm not going to rob him of that run. He had a great run, but I'm still not sold that he can be as good as he was for those 10 games for the next 10 years, okay? And I don't know about Trey Lance at all. Well, you know what? If that's your feeling, then you got to sniff for Tom Brady. We're assuming that Lynch and Shanahan really think the world of Brock Purdy, right? Because that's all we can really think. So if that's the case, you figure Purdy's going to be the starter next year. But here's the other thing, and I'm just throwing stuff out. We're going to year 7 with Kyle Shanahan.
Man.
We don't know who the quarterback is going into next year. Does this have anything to do with Kyle? How come we can't find our quarterback?
Well, hold on.
So
he mortgaged the future to go get what he thought was his quarterback in Trey Lance.
He did.
And just another caveat. We look at what Brock Purdy has done. It's amazing from a Brock Purdy perspective and where he was drafted. But for the ones that don't care, like you talked about, Steiny, how do we not know, as great as he was, that Kyle knows something more than we know? Duh. How do we know he looks at Brock like there's limitations on the kid?
He might.
And the 19 points against Dallas, where he didn't make any mistakes, but he didn't look like Bart Starr. But you could be, people out there could say, hey, you're looking at him wrong. You're being unfair. My point is, all that matters is what Kyle deems his quarterback to be and how close Brock was there. But I do, and I told you, I do think at night when I think about the Niners quarterback situation, and you gave me love the day after I tried to make the point of, well, damn, Steiny, what would Brock look like with that weaponry around him and McCaffrey? We might be we're on the cusp of finding out.
But the other thing is, and again, I told you what I would advocate just watching from the outside, which is Purdy and Lance are going to be your quarterbacks next year. Purdy will probably start at the number 1, ideally, if he's healthy, which all indications are that he will be. But I do think it's possible that another talent evaluator, not that I am, but another guy could look at Brock. What if Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are looking at each other with Brock Purdy and say, this is about what he is. I don't think he's going to have much more of an upside.
Very well be the real.
This is who he is, and he's pretty good. But we can't expect him to get better than this.
But what if this is good enough? Had he got hurt, he might be playing in 2 weeks in Glendale.
Or they might have gotten beat.
Oh, true.
So I don't know.
And he could have had a good game, and they gotten beat.
And he could have had a terrible game, and they win. The only thing I'm saying is, how much do we know or don't know what Shanahan and Lynch are sold on with Lance, Purdy, and the idea of a Tom Brady?
I feel like that is going to reveal itself.
I think you're right.
No doubt.
I think you're right. But I'm going to be you here. I want to know now.
And here we go with the Warrior in the window. I know you got Bosa. I know you need some additions to offensive line. Maybe you need some additions to the D-line. Do you feel like there's a window closing with this team?
I don't.
To where, you know what?
No.
We're getting so damn close, but we got to knock that door down. And maybe Tom Brady is the type of guy to where we know we're way more seasoned at the quarterback position. Our defense gets better because our offense is more lethal times 2. You just wonder.
Well, if Kyle Shanahan says, why did we get Brady? Because our window's closing, that tells me they don't think Purdy or Lance is good right now. See, I mean, I think I get it. Listen, football changes every single year.
Yeah. You taught me that.
But if you look at Brock Purdy and you think, and I'm talking about Shanahan, and he's like, this guy's a good quarterback. This guy's a good quarterback, and he's going to grow in the system, and I like how smart he is. Well, then, you know what? The future looks pretty good. Yeah. But if Kyle Shanahan's like, you know what? I think the league's going to catch up to him, and I'm a little worried about this, that, and the other
football
thing.
Version. And that's like the 415.
Well, they might be able to win with
this
Jeremy
bothers
Lin.
me. Y'all talking about Purdy like he's elite. No, I give him his flowers for what he was doing. But Steiny, I don't know if he's elite. I know he's not Dan Marino with the arm strength. I don't know what more film of Brock playing more football games would allow different and good defenses to do against him. And maybe Kyle knows that. So I'm like, that's part of it too. But now we're talking about a UCL. His elbow. That's everything.
No, I'm not doing that. That's where I'm not going with you. I am sick and tired. I am sick and tired.
I threw my arm out.
The fact that we have brought professional after professional onto the air.
Yeah.
You acting like this is actually spitting in the face of Panja and Feely.
That's my guy.
2 doctors. They have already said there's nothing to see here, but you keep saying yet.
Because they got to go in.
What if there is?
Yeah, you got to go in.
I'm going to take the doctor's advice.
Well,
those are the doctor's notes.
Can I tell you one thing?
I am not.
There's only one doctor in the world.
I'm not taking your worry.
And he's upstairs. Is that what it is? Upstairs, God. That's the only doctor to get.
Not a doctor.
I love the doctor, but you know, Steiny.
I'm not worried about Trey Lance's elbow. Sorry, that's concocted to me.
No, you mean Purdy.
What did I say?
Trey Lance.
Uh-oh.